I don't need the government telling me what I can and can't do. Well, you're not allowed to refer to Xi Jinping as Winnie the Pooh, the fecal sprayer, urine bottle, virus king, or Cherish the foreskin. I didn't even know about that one.
What? Is that another character in the 100 Acre Wood?
You know where we line up on the TikTok ban.
Ban it.
I think it's the free speech approach to TikTok that you see, and you see a lot of flip-flopping from those on the right. Very oddly, might I add.
Yeah.
It doesn't apply when you're dealing with the Communist Chinese Party. Okay, this is where the libertarian conservatism has failed tremendously. Yep, in the United States, I get it. I understand it. But when you're dealing with international corporations who are largely held and controlled by the Communist Chinese Party, no, you're not talking about free speech. That's the issue. It's an actual national security issue for Americans, TikTok. I'm sorry, everything else you say about businesses, about cat video, it doesn't matter. This is not the same as Meta, as YouTube censoring Americans with points of view that they don't like. On TikTok, I've been banned for a very long time. You can't be critical of the Chinese government. You can test it yourself and see what happens. So the ban is going into effect. Now, many of those who have advocated against it have found another home. I know what you're thinking. Okay, this is going to be much more free speech centric.
You would think.
Hopefully, replace the bad with make improvements. And the app is called Xiaohongshu, which actually translates to Little Red Book. I'll get to that in a second. Yeah. It is completely located, headquartered in China, subject to the whims of the CCP, and it meets every single condition that TikTok did as far as being a national security threat. And I am going to lay out the case for you today in no uncertain words that it is significantly worse. Okay? So when you see this out there and you see a lot of people who realize there's a niche market with the free speech thing, and so they like to muddy those waters, what they really mean is just send them some money. This does not apply here. I cannot be more clear. You see some TikTok refugees talking now, well, some of them I believe are already banned, as to how much they love Xiaohongshu.
Most of us from TikTok joined RedNote because, to be honest, it was the funniest form of protest that we could think of in protest of
it's hilarious.
ban.
The people over at Redbook at Xiaohongshu are so nice. The way that the people have just opened up the app to us, foreigners and TikTok refugees, and just
they open it to Uyghurs?
Started to show us the ropes.
I've been on RedNote for 10 minutes now. I saw a girl trying to teach us Mandarin, but I do feel like I need to learn some Mandarin because I'm struggling.
I just downloaded RedNote, and all I can say is that Instagram is gonna go out real sad.
And watch this.
漂亮女孩在哪里?
So I downloaded RedNote, and I am no longer convinced that we are living in a first world country. Seeing the everyday lives of Chinese people, obviously certain Chinese people, I'm not saying everybody's lives.
You mean most Chinese people who have no freedom.
It's just insanely eye-opening.
Bet your bottom dollar I went over the RedNote and signed right on up. There is nothing that I hate more than the government trying to tell me what I can and cannot do. Listen, I have a mom and I have a dad. I don't need the government to play that role in my life.
Yeah, no, you don't need the government telling you what to do. You don't need the government controlling your life, like forbidding you to leave your house and welding you in. Or telling you that you can't possess an unapproved Bible or practice whatever religion you want, or that you're allowed to criticize the government or control whether you access the internet or even mention Tibet, Taiwan, or that crappy Brad Pitt movie, or report the news. Great. I'm glad that Xiaohongshu is really nice to you Americans and you see how the Chinese freely live. Good for you. It's like those dumb broads who go to Cancun on vacation and go I love Mexico. I could live here. How about you go 3 miles outside of the resort?
That guy cracked me up at the end. This pawn shop owner or whatever he does.
Yeah.
I got a mother and a father. Yeah, why you're in your 30s? What do your mom and dad? You live with your mom and dad?
Yeah.
I don't like being told.
And a husband.
I don't like being told what to say because Xi Jinping is aces. I mean, so the app is at number 1 in the App Store. Okay, it's already attracted a bunch of American influencers. Those on the left, those on the right, including those on the right. You have people like Candace Owens. You have people like Nick Fuentes, Jackson Hinkle. What is Xiaohongshu? All right, and if you're a free speech advocate, let me ask you this: do you think that the free speech absolutism position for an American It needs to include free platform invasion here in the United States from the Communist Chinese Party. In other words, do you believe that a free speech absolutist has to support unfettered access to platforms that are without a doubt used for Chinese propaganda? Comment. I don't. That's why I'm not a libertarian. I believe freedom of speech for Americans, and I certainly don't believe that we should be sending money to or using the services of an app that puts that money directly in the pocket of the Communist Chinese Party. So let me go through some fast facts here so you have some context. The references are available. Fast fact number 1 here. You have a lot of users, and they're referring to this app as RedNote. You'll hear that, RedNote. Okay. In case this hasn't been clear enough, let me tell you something. Xiaohongshu, fun to say, not to be on. It literally translates, and I'm not misusing it like Donald Trump, like Joe Biden, sorry. Donald Trump does it too, let's be honest. Xiaohongshu literally translates to Little Red Book. That is a direct homage to the Little Red Book from Mao.
Whoops. Great Supreme Leader.
That was great, right?
I'm not going to be told what I can and can't do, and that's why I'm thrilled to be on this new app, Mein Kampf.
They got some great swag you can buy.
I tell you, I replaced Pinterest with the Killing Fields.
Where did Mao finish in our dictatov?
He was number 2.
Number 2.
I believe Pol Pot was number 1.
Pol Pot was number 1, yeah.
Key fact number 2. This app, just to be clear, it's not China's TikTok. That's what some people think. It's really kind of a combination of Pinterest and Instagram, which seems like that may not be super relevant or interesting until you understand that is because TikTok is actually banned in China. Yeah, that's something that a lot of people don't know. Free speech. Oh, okay. Well, not in China, where it's based.
They don't want interaction with foreigners.
And we'll get to that in a second because now you're going to see that with Xiaohongshu. Yeah. Key fact number 3. In case there was any doubt, this app is a direct propaganda arm of the CCP. Let me be really clear about this. So in 2021, CCP stopped Xiaohongshu from listing on the NASDAQ. Okay, the community standards in the app include comply with the Chinese Constitution and laws of regulations, practice the core values of socialism, spread the correct view of history, nation, country, and culture, carry forward the excellent traditional culture of the Chinese nation. TikTok was banned. This was permitted because this is in their community standards. You think that Meta's fact-checking was bad? Look, I hate Snopes. PolitiFact, whichever one does the dumbass Pinocchio thing. It's like, we're a legitimate outlet. Let's use the cartoon. These are the community standards of Xiaohongshu, the Little Red Book. Mao. Let me give you some other examples. They also ban a slew of content there that could be considered derogatory. I know what you're thinking, like actual doxing, threats. No, it's actually up to and including 540-something terms. I believe it's 540-something. You guys can look it up. Terms specifically that could be used for Xi Jinping.
There are that many derogatory terms?
Let me tell you what's banned on this app. I don't need the government telling me what I can and can't do. Well, you're not allowed to refer to Xi Jinping as Winnie the Pooh, the fecal sprayer, urine bottle, virus king, or cherish the foreskin. I didn't even know about that one.
What? Is that another character in the 100 Acre Wood?
It sounds like the new metal lineup at Van's Gay Warped Tour.
I also see naked wide buns in there.
China is home.
Good point.
Fecal sprayer?
Watch, Fred Durst is going to be on there. I guarantee you.
Fecal sprayer, that was my nickname in high school.
Yeah.
Xiaohongshu, or the highway. You're just lazy. I just want to make money.
You have explosive diarrhea one time in public and you're the fecal sprayer.
I can't get over cherish the forerskin.
Cherish the foreskin.
I don't know what that means.
I don't know what it means either.
Is that like a foreskin who's a hero named Cherish?
Yeah.
I
have no idea.
It'll be gone too soon.
Yes. Key fact number 4 here. This app, just for those of you who don't know, is just as invasive as TikTok as it relates to your private information. Mm-hmm. I don't understand how you can be against the government here not being transparent about Red Dye 3 and then say, well, free speech, so we're fine with an app that 100% harvests our data to use against us. All of the information stored from this app is stored within the People's Republic of China.
That's worse than TikTok.
Yes.
Because at least we tried to store most of the data here and kind of cordon it off a little bit, but that's so much worse.
Yes. And the privacy consent there, or at least There is no privacy consent.
No.
Okay? The privacy consent is ignored completely when, and let me give you their terms, it's necessary for the performance of statutory duties or obligations, it's necessary to respond to public health emergencies, or it's necessary to the processing personal information within a reasonable scope for news reporting, public opinion, supervision, etc., for the public interest. Well, that seems pretty broad.
Public opinion supervision?
Public opinion supervision.
We need supervised over our opinions. Okay.
And remember, China, right, their national intelligence law, it requires that companies cooperate with the CCP. That is what is required for you to do business. And TikTok wasn't allowed there, but this one is. It's scarier. TikTok was bad, and it should be banned. I would have preferred that it be purchased by an American company.
There you go. Yeah.
There you go. Be subject to the laws of the country that, actually has freedom of speech enshrined in its constitution. Do you guys understand this? You can go back about 6 or 7 years when I did a Change My Mind. America is the greatest country on earth. Change my mind. And even if people wanted to say, healthcare, okay. What about the fact that we're the only country that has the freedom of speech enshrined absolutely into our constitution? They go, well, other countries, really? They try and give you examples like Belgium, Canada, Germany, China, no other country. It's not a thing. Only here. So you need to understand that freedom of speech, when you talk about foreign entities run by a communist dictatorship, they don't have a constitution that includes the freedom of speech. That cannot be reconciled with ours. But in other words, if a communist came in, right? If an actual communist came in and say, hi, I'm communist, and said, I'm going to run this Bennigan's, and I'm going to run it and collect all of your information and report on everything that goes on here back to the Communist Chinese Party in Canada, of course it wouldn't be allowed.
Yeah.
It would be like if Eric Swalwell, if the spy said, I'm a spy, we'd be like, oh, well, that's a problem. That's why we found out that it was a problem. For some reason, when it's on a digital screen, we all go, freedom of speech. This is not a freedom of speech issue. It's a communist Trojan horse. Very small horse.
Yeah, by the way, if a communist showed up to run a Bennigan's, he'd also be a time traveler.
Yes, he would.
Because those don't exist anymore.
Oh, you're more a TGI Friday guy? Xiaohongshu. So, key fact.
Sound like an insult when you say it like that.
Yeah. Key fact.
Xiaohongshu's like, they're shenanigans?
Yeah. Number 5. The Communist Chinese Party is probably going to ban the app too.
Yeah.
And the reason for that is because even though they have all these terms of service and banned terms, the Communist Chinese Party, unlike many Americans, not you necessarily watching, but Americans who have no problem with being spied on by the Communist Chinese Party, who have no problem with a foreign nation interfering even in our electoral process through propaganda, which you see in their terms is actually part of the community standards, right, is to allow propaganda and to silence criticism. This app is still a problem for China because they see it as facilitating interaction between China and the West. They don't want that. They don't want the Chinese citizens, unlike those creators who you saw, who are oppressed, whose rights are violated on a regular basis, who are jailed, who are not allowed to practice religion freely. If they see the freedom that Americans have, well, guess what? Everything starts to unravel. You saw that quite a bit with the USSR. They saw some Wrangler jeans and said, I want that. And I'm like, well, it's not going to make you look like Demi Moore, but we understand it.
I don't understand.
So here's actually an expert on China, Rush Doshi, posted this on X, said that Xiaohongshu, if it survives Beijing, poses all the same problems that TikTok does and probably more to the US. But I think the problems it poses to Beijing right now may be greater since it's almost a tunnel under the firewall to reach PRC citizens directly. And one user out there has already noted that the app is, and this is kind of a technical term, but for those of you who understand it, that they're already geofencing foreign IPs.
RedNote or Xiaohongshu just released an update in the Greater China region with a function to separate out foreign IPs. And there are now talks of moving all foreign IPs to a separate server and having a different IP for those who are in the Greater China area.
By the way, I think that's a good look. It's kind of like a Kurt Cobain meets Memoirs of a Geisha. I like it.
Nice, yeah.
I like it, yeah. The app, by the way, is already recruiting emergency English censors as opposed to the standard English censors.
Oh, love that.
Yeah.
You know, I actually got the app.
What?
Really?
Yeah, I didn't want to tell you guys, but yeah, I got the app, and I threw up a video. One of my videos went viral.
Really?
No way.
Yeah. Tim, do you mind playing it? I gave it to
Seriously?
Tim. Yeah, sure, I'll play it. Well, they translated it to Chinese. It's kind of weird, but millions of views. So
millions of views.
Yeah.
But you don't speak Chinese.
No, they translated it.
Are you sure they got the translation? You sure they got the translation right?
I trust my institutions.
Actually, research just sent me a version where they translated the translation.
With the English captions?
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's it. Yeah.
Yeah. Here it is.
为什么社会当人要过马路？因为他看到了一个邪恶的资本家，他的系统让他失望了，颓废和宏伟的承诺。
That's not right.
你靠什么谋生？
I don't think that was right, actually. The last part, yeah, I was trying to go TikTok famous with my.
Where are you from? Seattle? You are gay. Seattle is for gays.
You mean that wasn't your stand-up, Josh?
You can't.
It's close.
Yeah, they really seem to have a concern. The communists with decadence.
They got the timing off.
Yes.
It's like they would be primarily concerned with like how we describe our desserts.
A decadent dessert.
Decadent fudge.
You eat every day?
Yeah.
Decadent American.
Your weakness make you fat. You're fat from decadence. False promise, decadence. You fat. Enjoy red dye number 3.
Tiramisu sound Chinese.
Yes, sound Chinese.
But not.
But not. Very tasty, but far too decadent. I ate one bite tiramisu, I have gout.
I prefer a carrot cake with no cake.
That's right. Have gout. Look, my finger hurt. Go, ow, finger hurt, gout. Should no longer eat liver and caper and tiramisu. Those of you who understand gout. Tiramisu. Uric acid. So, hey, if you like this video, you're still here, click there. Click there to watch more rebuttals, takedowns, and claim and truth videos where they're pretty self-explanatory in the title. I don't know what the thumbnail is. It's not salacious, is it? Maybe a little. That's ideal.